What's going on, everybody? I am Jim Tucker, co-host of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast, and this is my NXT review from April 22nd. The On the Mark Wrestling podcast is a podcast on the Overtime Sports Network. Visit otsportsnetwork.com or @_OTSN on Twitter for a bunch of sporting content, a number of podcasts, a bunch of blogs. And if you are creative and want to create, we'd love to have you on board. Shoot me a DM on Twitter @JimTuck89, or you can hit up the host of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast, Kyle Gagliardi, on Twitter @TooSweetKyle. Too sweet! And he'll get back to you. Okay, so let's talk about NXT from April 22nd. This is yesterday if you're watching it today. Okay. We open up with refs in the locker room. Finn Balor, his status is unknown, right? So something happened to him. They've got his jacket to indicate that he was the one that was jumped, but he's nowhere to be found. Velveteen Dream comes out and starts talking about Finn, but Adam Cole is interrupted, and Adam Cole basically says, I know what you're doing. I know what you're up to. If you take out Finn, you think you'll be the number one contender, that kind of thing. And that basically sets us up for the main event of the evening between Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee. Well, they'll team up and they'll face off against the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. Our first match of the night is Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. My pick, I was going to pick Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, and that pick did come true. My thought behind that pick was that they wanted to make Raquel Gonzalez look strong and have Dakota Kai and Gonzalez take the win here. Tegan Nox did win last week, but it was with the help of Shotzi Blackheart. So solid opener. It went about 7.5 minutes. Gonzalez and Kai win. They made Gonzalez look like a monster. Plenty of strong spots. They end the match with a one-arm powerbomb on Shotzi Blackheart. So it was good for what it is. It continues the story. I'm sure we'll see a rematch here in the future. Right after that is when they did announce the main event. Then we go through a vignette of Drake Maverick, right? And this is where I get a little skeptical. I think something's up here because the WWE was set to release Drake Maverick, but they let him out for 3 matches, right? They're going to let him do the tournament for the interim cruiserweight title, but they've made so much mention about how he's leaving the company. I feel like this could end up being a spot or a work because they mentioned it a number of times, and you don't hear them mentioning a number of other people throughout. So before we head into commercial break, we get a Drake Maverick video. When we come back, we learn that Drake Maverick will be facing off against Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas, for me, was the one I thought he would get the win in the debut, but at this point, I made the decision because they hadn't laid it on so thick with Drake Maverick in that angle. So I thought that was a little bit interesting that they continued to play it and talk about that Drake Maverick angle. Now, Jake Atlas looks good. Now, he looks a little... He did get the win in about 6.5. I enjoyed the match. There were quick spots, frenetic spots throughout, intermittently. I thought Jake Atlas looked good. They interviewed him afterwards, and his answers were very vanilla to me. I'm going to be the new champion, yada, yada, yada. But I did think he looked good in the ring. So, and we come back from the break. We have a video of Damian Priest, and basically he's setting his sights on Keith Lee. Small vignette there. The next match is Kushida versus Tony Nese, and I was going to pick my pick was Kushida in this one because I think they're ready to start making him ascend in the division where Tony Nese has already been champion. Now, Tony Nese's point in his video package was that he's already been champion, he's been prepared, and although Kushida has won tournaments in other brands, he's never won a tournament that Tony Nese was in. I thought it was a good match. Nese tapped out to the Sakuraba lock after Kushida flipped him off the ropes. I thought it was a great spot. Match went about 11 minutes, just over 11 minutes, and Kushida did get the win. Good spots for both. Kushida pulled off a crafty win, and he answered a lot of Tony Nese's offense. So Kushida gets a win in Group A for that NXT Cruiserweight tournament. There was a spot with Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, and Matt Riddle talks about how he's not Thatcher's not replacing Pete, but he is a good tag partner. Sounds like they're going to have a match next week. I did like the chemistry between the two. I think Thatcher was about to break towards the end of that little interview, but I am interested in Thatcher's character as well. And then we get a spot where after commercial break, we get the Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae video segment where they're at home, and basically Gargano and LeRae are going to turn heel here. And what happens is they're using good production to show that it's, you know, a normal life, and then all of a sudden they have these darker thoughts, right? They've been the good guys. They've been the ones that haven't asked questions and always said yes and did whatever they want, but that was at the expense of them, right? And people like Tommaso Ciampa ascended to the top of the rankings in that division and company because of people like Johnny being sacrificial. And same thing with Candice LeRae. So it sounds like those two are going to continue to work together, and, you know, they want to do, you know, the old burn down the company and restore it and rebuild it kind of thing. I'm interested to see it. I was not digging Candice LeRae's look here with the black lipstick and the hair, but it makes sense for a heel turn. Coming back after that, we get an Io Shirai video package, and she's been waiting and wanting to face Charlotte, and she's going to take down the Queen's Castle. And then we go back to Drake Maverick. We're laying it on really thick here from the NXT side about how he's no longer in the company, but he's still working. How does that feel? He basically says everyone in the tournament has one opponent, the person that they're facing. Drake has two opponents, his opponent and himself. Again, I think something's up here. I think it's a work. So get a video of after we're done with the interview with Drake Maverick, we go to a match between Mia Yim and Jessi Kamea. I picked Kamea to win here just because it was a debut, and it's not like they're strapping a rocket to Mia Yim's back. I did think Jessi Kamea looked good. It was a short little bout, about 3:15. Solid debut from Kamea. There was some good back and forth. She does look plodding and sluggish as she runs across the ring. Not very smooth, but I do think she can become something. She joined the company in 2017, former college volleyball player, so we'll see how it goes there. Then Charlotte Flair comes down and basically says, Mia Yim, you were around as I transcended through the ranks, and I'm going to give you a match. So it sounds like Mia Yim and Charlotte Flair will be squaring off against each other next week. We're back from, as we go into the break, there's a video package, a regular package for Jack Gallagher. Off of commercial break, we come back and there's a video of Chelsea Green, and she's in a bikini, she's strutting around the pool, Robert Stone's talking her up, and, you know, she's a triple threat, she's a total package. Okay, alright. Back into the action, Jack Gallagher squared off against El Hijo del Fantasma, which means son of the ghost. I looked it up. I thought Fantasma would get the win, and he did in 11:35. I thought it was a good match, good athletic match. Jack Gallagher looked good. You can tell El Hijo del Fantasma has wrestled plenty, good pacing, a very professional bout on his end, good pacing, and good sells too. So he got interviewed after and spoke a lot of Spanish. So I don't know what he said. Back from that, after the break, Phantasm was out by his car and he mentions a few things, and then all of a sudden a car drives up. He gets jumped by some men in Lucha Libre masks. Okay, there we go. And then we're on to the main event, Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee versus Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. I thought Lee and Dream would win, coming out strong, as Velveteen is ascending to face Cole, and Keith Lee is going to be a strong title holder. That was kind of erased pretty quickly into the match. Those guys get on the outside. Damian Priest shows up, smashes Keith Lee in the throat like twice with a nightstick, so he's gone. We go to the commercial. Dream's facing the Undisputed Era now, fighting off. It looks like he's doomed a couple times with a couple close 2 counts, but then my highlight of the night, Dexter Lumis shows up. Again, super creepy, very methodical and plotting as he gets in the ring. So apparently Keith Lee's gone. Dexter Lumis becomes, the instant tag partner because Dream tags him in and there's no avail. The ref was allowing it. So Dexter Lumis shows up. Dream gets to tag him in. A back and forth. Cole gets tagged in. Dexter comes in, strikes to Cole, drops Roderick Strong. Plenty of strong strikes in the corner. And he's got this methodical and kind of plotting nature to him, right? Where he's not going to rush. He is going to show his athleticism, but it's methodical is the word that comes to mind when I think of Dexter Lumis. So they obviously have a plan for him and want him to get in more. And I like it. Dream tags in eventually and does the Velvet Rainmaker to Cole. Strikes in the corner. He's very calm. Yep, and they win in about 10 minutes. Just under 10 minutes, 9:45. So it was a fun twist with Dexter Lumis coming in. And at the end, Lumis is on the outside of the ring looking up at Velveteen Dream through the ropes. And Velveteen Dream kind of looks back at him and sees, maybe that's a future angle that they're going to use to prolong the Dream and Cole thing. I do think they're going to try to prolong it and maybe try to get that in front of a crowd, but who knows when that's going to be. But overall, I thought the show was good. I was happy with it. Kyle Gagliardi, the host of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, has his AEW review available on YouTube as well, so make sure you check that out and hear his thoughts on yesterday's show as well. It sounds like NXT got the edge according to him. I still have to watch AEW, and I'll be doing that this evening, so follow the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast on Twitter at @PodOnTheMark. We're also on Facebook. And then you can follow and listen to our podcast when we get back at it. We've been doing these videos a couple weeks now, trying to adhere to social distancing, but we are itching to get a podcast out. You can find that on iTunes at On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. And then you can also go to the onthemarkpod.libsyn.com and hear the stream there. I really appreciate you watching. Leave your comments and feedback below and let me know what you thought about the show. What do you think about Dexter Lumis? What do you think about the angles between Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream? What about Drake Maverick? Is that a work? I don't know. I think so, but let me know your thoughts below. And as always, please visit the Overtime Sports Network, otsportsnetwork.com, or on Twitter @_OTSN. Until next time, thank you for watching my video review for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.